It's the normie's guide to Italian Brainrot. It's the meme that has taken social media by storm and captured the hearts of Generation Alpha and us geriatric millennials alike. And John, I want you to believe that it tops Onesia Robinson as the most internet thing that we've spoken about on the podcast in 2025. Up until now, it was Pakistan's favorite new princess, Onesia Robinson, and her quest for love in a faraway land.
Yeah.
But now, oh my God, has the Italian Brainrot meme exploded. And the reason that I wanted to do a little explainer video is because we got a whole wide range of audience here at Don't Praise the Machine. We've got everything from the most skibbity Gen Z kids that laugh. I think I'm real hip to the groove at 42, 43. I'm using all the LLMs. And then my 18, 19, 20-year-old cousins in Australia who are all very Z will just be like, you are the chuggiest fuck in the world. Like, the stuff you're saying is so really embarrassing. But we've got that all the way to people who have never used ChatGPT, and we have an Instagram account.
It's true.
Don't
people
praise
saying
the
to
machine.
us, I can't believe you told me about that thing. What was it?
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's right. And I started posting on our Instagram account the Italian Brainrot memes, and instantly a bunch of people started going, "This is great." I think some people didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was when I started posting it. I just thought this is some absurd internet weirdness. Yeah. I didn't realize that there was a law being developed. But then my Italian friend Marta wrote to me like 2 weeks ago after about the 100th video that I'd posted, the 100th reel that I'd reposted. And she just said, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this weird thing that you are posted? So that you keep posting. So I think it's I just am very taken with it on a whole bunch of levels, and in particular I think that the way that the technology is now allowing people to create memes is just fucking mind-blowing, how that's changed the meme game. So I'm going to tell you about what it is, where it came from.
That'd be great. Yeah.
And why do we love it? And John, maybe you can tell me before we even start, do you have a kind of overall grasp of what the heck I'm even talking about? Because when I was like, John, you want to talk about Italian Brainrot memes? And you said, oh, I don't know what that is. And I said, come on, you want to talk about... Then 2 weeks later, I said, John, you want to talk about Italian Brainrot meme? And you said, yeah, so they've posted something about that in The Guardian, and I haven't read it. So now that it's in The Guardian, do you want to talk about it, John?
I said, oh, yes, my favorite social commentators. So... yeah, I mean, I must admit, when I first encountered it, I thought the same thing. I was just like, this is just one creator, one account maybe, that's specializing in this weird universe of characters. And it's a kind of, so that we're basically talking about a kind of genre of surrealist memes, and they tend to feature recurring characters, which maybe we'll come to. And I've since learned a little bit in the lead up to today's episode about the kind of layers of historical depth that precede the trend as I know it now, involving Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, etc. But when I encountered it, it was just things like, you know, there'll be like a shark with sneakers on.
Yes.
And the shark is is running around in that kind of creepy AI sort of, you know, generated.
Yeah, you of course, John. Of course, you're talking about Tralalero, Tralala, the Nike wearing shark.
That's right.
What might be fun, is if I show you the first ever video that I saw that featured any of these characters, and I posted this on the Don't Praise the Machine Instagram account, and I had no fucking idea what it was. I just thought, clearly this is an AI video of UFC CEO Dana White, and there's some weird like bullshit. Everything about it is like memey, and it was just hilarious. And I didn't realize that there's actually a whole lot to it. So I will play this together and we'll show the audience. This was my first exposure to it a couple of months ago.
Tralala versus Bombardiro Crocodilo. Jake Paul just wired $1 million in Goon coins to make this happen. Loser gets reincarnated as Riley Reed's feet. Tung Sahar is our ref. He showed up with his bat, spun 3 times, and declared war on Ohio. We're letting it happen. Lorilla and Barbar Patapim are going to be ringside with Joe Rogan. It goes to the ground. They're legally allowed to intervene with lean. Trippy Tropy Troppa Trippa hasn't blinked in 46 hours and is whispering shrimp prophecies directly into the cage door to make it extra spicy. We even got that Gina as our ring girl. Hopefully Tung Sahar can keep it in his pants.
So that's like insane. It's and I kind of assumed, oh, they must be referring to some characters that I'm not really aware of. It must be a deep internet meme. You could hear the sound on that, John, just to double check?
I could, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Riverside. Riverside, if you could allow us to get 30 frames per second without having to get a fucking business account, boy, oh boy, would I swap to you, Riverside. But it's a little, but I'm having to, I can't deal with 24 frames per second on YouTube. Sorry, I digress. And so I saw that and I thought, oh, this is some weird isolated internet bullshit. And then I just kept seeing more and more of the same characters, and then I realized, wow, this is a whole thing. So it's referred to as Italian brain rot. Brain rot, we know, was the Oxford Dictionary word of the year last year. A term used to describe mental dullness or intellectual decline due to consumption of low quality or mindless content, whereas AI brain rot has sprung up, and it's a AI art style which is shared through a lot of memes on TikTok and Instagram, where people have been combining animals with objects like planes or fruit, or animals with objects, even forests, and then they give them anthropomorphic features like legs and feet, and then they give them silly Italian names. And they get the AI voiceover to speak in silly, sometimes sensical, sometimes nonsensical Italian language. It just sounds hilarious. It's completely absurd. According to the web, or the Wikipedia page said that the kind of proto-Italian brain rot foundations came from Italy. It's popularly used Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and they made him in one video use the nonsensical word "trallalero tralala."
That's right.
And then in early 2020, so go on.
And then he'd rhyme it with "smerdo pure nallaldila."
That's right.
I'm sorry, I've pronounced that wrong.
We'll get Marta to it. We'll get Marta. Marta, can you write us in and tell us how to pronounce Smerdo Pura Nellalita?
Nellalita. And
what does that mean, John?
That means I shit even in the afterlife, which I love. And that says, the Wikipedia page says, the phrase would later be used to create the basis of Italian brain rot.
Yeah, the first character that seems to appear is in January 2025, named Trallalero Tralala, and that's the shark featuring Nike shoes, accompanied by that Italian text-to-speech going Trallalero Tralala.
You've also got Bombadero Crocodilo.
Yeah, so around the same time, people start going, cool, this is a cool thing. We'll take animals and we'll take objects and we'll jam them together just using AI prompt generators. So we'll generate an image of we'll generate a video image of a crocodile mixed with a World War II bomber plane, and we'll give it a really Italian sounding name, Bombadero Crocodilo. And then that starts appearing and people just post memes as if it's been a thing that's always existed. There's this the thing that makes it so hilarious is when you open one of these videos, there's this assumption that these things have just always been around forever and have their own backstory that you're just supposed to understand.
Yeah. It's Bombadero Crocodilo, and of course he's doing this, and you're like, what even is this?
And then I actually found, because I was wondering how has the world decided which of these characters are added to the lore of the. And I think what happened was around this time, I think tons and tons and tons of people were just combining any animal and any object and then giving it a silly Italian sounding name. And some of them people loved and reused, and some of them just fell by the wayside. It's like I found like a 30-minute video of with tons of them that I just never heard of before.
Right.
So the ones that people seem to have created that people loved, you got Trallalero Tralala, he's the shark wearing the Nikes. Then you got Bombadero Crocodilo. He's the crocodile with the crossed with the World War II bomber. Then my favorite, Tung 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 Sahur. And Tung 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 Sahur actually comes from like Indonesian TikTok, but then he got adopted into the Italian brain rot world. And he looks like an anthropomorphic bat, wooden bat holding a bat. And apparently Tung 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 is an onomatopoeia in Indonesian of when you beat a drum.
Yeah.
I got this from some fucking Wikipedia page. This is great too. Then you've got ballerina cappuccina, who's a cappuccino with sexy legs. Now, this is important, John. She is married to a ninja named Cappuccino Assassino. And then you have everyone's favorite, Chimpanzini Bananini, who's a chimpanzee combined with a banana. And it's massively popular, apparently, with a generation that we're going to be speaking about more and more and more as the show goes on. We've mentioned them, I think, in some of the earliest episodes of the show.
Yeah.
And that's Generation Alpha, the demographic born between 2010 and 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please get ready?
Please welcome
Generation Alpha.
They've wrecked your brain with Skibbity Toilet, and now they're coming
that's
back for seconds. Yeah.
That's them. Yeah. So you have seen all of these, John.
I've probably seen them because you keep putting them on the Instagram account, and so I just watch the stories along with everyone else, and I love them. And I mean, they do have this sort of, like, there's common themes similarly with Skibbity Toilet of just complete absurdity, or like the kind of absurdity that you get from one of those stories where everyone writes a line and then passes it on to the next person, where it's just it's a shark, but it's got shoes, and it's kind of base level absurdity, just that mismatch. But then obviously over the top of that, there's a kind of attempt, a bit like with Skibbity Toilet, to create this kind of, to allude to there being like a whole complex lore and a world and a relationship between these characters, universe.
I've got much more time for the Italian Brainrot universe than I do for the DC Marvel universe, let me tell you.
It's true. And then there's a kind of anxious, manic quality to a lot of the videos where things are sort of running around or like moving in weird ways, or the voiceover is kind of, because it's Italian too, it's often like they're playing up the kind of the rhythm of the Italian language and like speaking in a rapid and bombastic sort of way, and I love all that. And I don't really understand. I mean, I guess that the broader theme that's making it all possible, which you alluded to at the start, is just what AI allows people to do with memes, which, I mean, this previously, given a couple of years ago, this wouldn't have existed because people just didn't have access to the tools to make this kind of universe suddenly come alive. And, people, even if one person worked out how to do it and put in the time to do it, it wasn't as though I could just go, oh, well, I like this universe. Maybe I'll make my own Bombadillo Crocodilo meme, just using, like, I'll get an AI subscription and just get it to do some weird shit with a shark and a crocodile that's part bomber. But now everyone can do that.
Well, and that's what it's creating as well, is this world that can see, as you say, previously you would make an image. You'd have to spend time getting to know Photoshop, and you'd make a silly image meme, or maybe you were quite good at sort of editing together video. Maybe if you were a fucking G, you could like use After Effects to get a video looking spectacular. But as you say, that's such a fraction of the population that would be able to contribute to that. Totally. And now you have people that can make videos like any geek off the street, if I can take a word from Warren G's Regulators. You can be any old geek off the street if you want to, and you can make a incredibly engaging AI meme that people want to share. So the second one that I saw, or these started popping off around the same time, this is so good. So it became very popular to take some of the Joe Rogan interviews that are always memed. There's a host of people. For some reason, the internet has decided that there are certain guests that Joe Rogan has had who are the best ones to make it, to throw into memes. And it's Bernie Sanders is one of them. And the other one is Jordan Peterson. And so I will show you the Jordan Peterson. This was like the second one that I ever saw. And again, I was quite new to the whole thing, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? It is absolutely my kind of thing. And so that was this one, John.
Why Tralalero Tralala is universally more popular than Bombardiro Crocodilo is because he fits the ancient archetype of the fallen hero. Fallen from the grace of heaven into the imperfect world of man and sharks, Trollolero has no wings like Bombardiro. Instead, he must carry his own weight on his 4 feet. In doing so, he takes on the burden of man to fight for his heavenly redemption. His main enemy, Bombardiro Crocodilo, is part object of war and part reptile, a clear allusion to the forces of evil and destruction. The reason why...
It's so good. It's so well written. Like,
Yeah.
it's
And then
yeah.
it's got that wah, 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 that interstellar thing in the back.
and then and again, so that's somebody taking an interview, making it look like Jordan Peterson. It's convincingly said that, obviously, like people in the AI world on the internet like us can still pick it. We won't be able to assume, but that would convince my parents. They would go, okay, why is that man talking about that? I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Somebody then made something that just looks like a convincing anime, like the intro to Pokemon or something, featuring all of the characters, and obviously the song is also generated by AI, and you're absolutely gonna love it. And it goes a little something like this. Yeah, just incredible.
It's great. And it's done in that very sort of 90s, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style animation.
Yeah, the characters are running. There's all smoke and dirt being chewed up behind them. Another one in the style of the Jordan Peterson one. Here we have our man.
You'll know this, Joe, but you can test someone's IQ by asking them one simple question. Bombardiro Crocodilo or Trollolero Trolala. If they choose Bombardiro, they are clearly mentally gifted and destined for a successful life. But if they choose Trollolero Trolala, well, let's just say we'll need to have well-funded welfare programs.
And yeah, it's just incredible. People are sharing all manner of memes. My friend, the etymology nerd. I don't know if you've seen him, John. You would have probably seen him before. He does excellent breakdowns of the deeper meaning behind
I think
memes.
I have seen him. Yeah.
He is excellent. I'll just show you a tiny little bit.
Understand the Italian Brainrot memes that are trending right now, I think you have to read it through a postmodernist lens where you consider how we construct truth in the context of AI and the algorithm. On one hand, the memes inherently call attention to what the philosopher Jean Baudrillard describes as hyperreality, the confusion between what is real and what stands in for the real. When we mix something authentic, like the head of a camel, with something clearly impossible, like the body of a fridge, the resulting dissonance highlights the coexistence of what we can trust online with what we can't. At the same time, the entire image is AI generated, so it's all fake, but it's often mixed in with real world events. For example, the trending audio for Bombardiro Crocodilo is about the actual situation in Gaza. And you'll often see AI-generated versions of real people like Bernie Sanders or Jordan Peterson discussing their favorite fake characters. A lot of the jokes also revolve around ranking these characters through categories we've accepted are real, like tier lists or street interviews or online quizzes. And these also derive their absurdity by challenging our norms of categorization. Meme researcher Aidan Walker.
It's
there you go.
It's great. And I don't know why I fucking love it so much, but every time I see one that is well done, I think maybe particularly because I just love absurdist stuff. I just feel like I'm in this world. I'm bought into this being a real thing where these characters actually have some sort of lore behind them and and they have some sort of story. And the way that this is going to take meme culture is to me just incredible. How you can have a bunch of kids now. I mean, I'm sure they're not all kids, but apparently it is massive with Generation Alpha.
It's kind of appealing to a different generation there. But I also noticed that it has this strange quality because of some of the themes that have been appearing, where it's attracted a degree of controversy because apparently some of the voiceover, like for one thing, it's got that character Tung 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 Sahur,
yes,
who's which is the Tung 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 onomatopoeia is about beating a drum to commence sahur, which is the pre-dawn meal that Muslims eat before fasting during Ramadan.
Yes.
And there's other kind of themes which are sort of weirdly referential of Islam, and it's not really clear why. Sometimes in the voiceover, there's just a reference to like saying, fuck Allah or something, and then there's a narration of Bombadero Crocodilo. The classic narration is a flying alligator who drops bombs on children in Gaza and Palestine. He doesn't believe in Allah and loves bombs, and it's just like, what is going on? Why is it mentioning these themes? And why? And like, is there a possibility that it's making some kind of as yet somewhat unclear culture wars point or stance? And so for that reason, it's gained notoriety apparently in some places, including Indonesia. And it's also been appropriated in some quarters. So Hungarian politician Viktor Orban, who many people will know, he's a bit of a kind of right-wing populist, released a TikTok video where a 3D model of Tung 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 Sahur is seen dancing in a government meeting. So there you go. And
man,
and people people like from France to Poland to Germany are all kind of talking about it as an interesting, again, like something that could have a political edge, probably in the same way that like what is his name? That's that frog that Pepe, is it? That came to symbolize,
Pepe the Frog. That
came to symbolize a kind of alt-right sort of trolley persona. I think there's potential for the Italian Brainrot to end up in that kind of territory just because of this sort of weird undercurrent of themes. And I don't know whether they're there because... So the original audio, it says, Tralalero tralala, porco Dio e porco Allah, which means tralalero tralala, damn God and damn Allah. And it's like, why is this included in what's going on with the crocodile? The crocodile with shoes is kind of weirdly, he's aggressively atheistic and anti-Islam for some reason. So interesting to see where that comes from. I'm in Italy at the moment, and I haven't seen.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen Giorgia Meloni, who's the incumbent PM, comment so far on the Italian Brainrot.
I love her so much. I call her ballerina cappuccino.
That's right.
There's an Italian guy. I think he's Italian. There's a guy who's like getting on subway trains around the world, and he just starts like reeling off sort of lore. He'll get on a train and just really loudly start going tung 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 sahur, and then he starts saying some story about Bombadero Crocodilo. But I guess the fun of it is it's this thing that everybody is sharing in, and it's not. Yeah. It's just like it's so open, and yet there's enough of a through line that people go, oh yeah, I recognize this. I know what you're trying to do, and then it's just a free world to take these characters. Apparently, like there's always these. There's these videos people make where ballerina cappuccina is like cheating on her husband with tung 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 sahur, and it's just incredible how the technology has now allowed for the level of complexity that people are able to create in video form and with sound. It's so this time last year, absolutely not. I mean, if this meme popped off last year, the memes would have been so much lamer because everybody just didn't have access to the same level of video and audio AI creation. There's another one here, John. I'll throw a couple more in just to give you a sense of how broad. I've got another 4 here, ending with my a couple of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So this one is a kind of like, this one uses the music from the dark fantasy memes, but it's made a kind of dark fantasy 1970s Italian Brainrot, almost like a TV show intro. Yep. And that is that one I really love as well. So that one is
That's a great idea.
Is here.
Trippy troppy.
Berber patapim.
Oh, it's unsettling. Bombardini Goscini. Yeah, so that's kind of making them look pretty hyper real. It's a bit like our mate who we did the short on, who makes
Glumlot.
the kind of Glumlot, who makes the kind of atmospheric, futuristic sort of AI stuff. So I assume now there's also capacity for, in the same way that Beautiful Cabin Crew, Scarlett Johansson kicked off on Facebook, and some of those accounts are just AI generated content. I assume that AI could just start making this shit on its own without much human input at all. Keep pumping out Italian Brainrot until it really starts to do us neurological damage.
Yeah, this one in particular, I mean, this one's quite creative, but I mean, it still feels like there's definitely a human hand in some of this, because there is just that element of there is that element of taste that the AIs haven't quite nailed yet. Now, when we're talking about the technology getting to a point where you are going, this is quite amazing that somebody's made this. This is somebody that, and again, this is like this one I loved because it's making this assumption that the Italian Brainrot lore has grown so big and is so popular the world over. There is now an Italian Brainrot theme park that you can visit, in much the same way that once something like Harry Potter becomes big enough, it gets its own theme park.
Get Harry Potter World.
So this is like somebody made people visiting Italian Brainrot theme park, and it's fucking great. And this is it here. It's just incredible.
That's wild.
So you can buy the merch, get the dolls, get your photo taken with Tung 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 Sahua. Ride.
That's very clever.
So that's the.
So somebody, I presume that people have tried to sell real life like physical toys.
Sure. And T-shirts. People got tattoos.
Meme coins, probably.
Meme coins. Yeah, there are meme coins. You're right.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay.
There's like get your fucking Tung 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 Sahua shit coin straight away.
Yeah.
Pump Tung Tung Tung. Pump Tung Bucks. Pump Tung Bucks. And then
NFTs.
again, NFTs. Again, once this is the, I'll show you two more. Once something becomes big enough, of course, it gets its own musical. And so you need the stage show of Italian Brainrot. Boy, it was sold out for weeks. Nobody could get tickets. And this is it.
Zippa topi topa zippa, zippi topi topa zippa, fito fito te la notte sono monetizzati.
Tropica, top top, torine tropicati. Frigo, camelo. Pupapa, l'orbo, sotto il grillo.
Samazza, io cazzo, fragolita, la tapeta.
Tongue, 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 so and I love ballerinas, cap.
Fernandero, Tatan. No,
Right.
Like, that's just incredible. Like,
It is. And I do
somebody's
feel-
made a realistic looking musical with, it looks like people have dressed up in the outfits of the characters and are performing them on stage with convincing sort of Italian operatic musical theater themed songs.
It also sort of reveals the capacities of AI and how it kind of cascades. So you will have, like, somebody would have initially, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody would have said, okay, I want you to create a shark with sneakers and these other features and whatever, and it just creates this character that looks a particular way. Then you get it to keep doing that. Then eventually you can just say, I assume to a large language model, you could probably just say, like, can you just make an image of Bombadillo Crocodilo doing this, and it will kind of know what that is and be able to draw on it. So then you can say to it, well, can you create an image of, Tung 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 Sahur, except instead of being that character, it's like a human being who's dressed up in the costume of that character.
That's right.
And on it goes. And so like you kind of get these things that like cement with each step that AI takes, and then you can just kind of add layers of abstraction to it. So it's kind of like the capacities of the AI are dictating where the trend is able to go over time. But and it wouldn't have made sense, obviously, initially, that like there would have been too many layers. But now you can say, well, yeah, now this is the stage show. Now this is the theme park. Now maybe there's like a war involving the the flying crocodiles or whatever.
I think we've done an excellent job of finally explaining this to people. I want people to write in and tell me if that now makes, because I mean, when I decided that I was going to talk about this, I was like, this will be fun. And then the more that I started thinking about how am I going to explain this to an audience, the more complicated it became. And I started looking at YouTube videos, and there's people have made YouTube videos that go, I will explain the Italian Brainrot lore to you, and they're like an hour and 20 minutes long of people explaining how it started and then how many. And I think what happened is there must be some sort of communication online where people decide, like, who decides, Ballerina Cappuccina has a relationship with this one. There is a wiki. Yeah. There is a wiki page that I found. You can go Italian Brainrot wiki, and I think that plays. I think that plays some sort of role in the more or less official. I can share my screen here with you. So this is the Italian Brainrot wiki, and you can see main page. Welcome to Italian Brainrot wiki. Italian Brainrot is a series of memes that have gained popularities in early 2025, blah, 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 blah. If you wish to learn more about the Italian Brainrot as a meme, take a look at the Italian Brainrot page. Starts off, featured articles, tralalero, tralala, tung, 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 sahua. It's so hilarious. This kind of feels like a real thing that you should be paying attention to. Tralalero, tralalas is one of the first and one of the most popular Italian Brainrot characters. It has the appearance of a blue shark with elongated fins. Then
but that's the thing, like, who decides what's canon? Somebody goes like, oh no, he's not a shark, he's a or he's a hammerhead shark, and then everyone else just goes, no, he's not. That's wrong. Like, wrong according to what? It's all just invented nonsense.
Exactly. Berber Patapim, I love. He is like a combination of like a forest with giant feet and I think a monkey.
That's great. I like to imagine that. I like to imagine that, the world's destroyed except for a few remnants, and unfortunately Italian Brainrot wiki is one of the remnants.
And cockroaches.
10,000 years from now, you've got archaeologists going, what the fuck? What are these people doing? Even if you go on the Wikipedia page for Italian Brainrot, the C also just makes my stomach sink a bit. It's like, see also shit posting, YouTube poop, and AI slop. And you go, what direction are we heading in here?
Great. Yeah. This is what you can explain to Innes over dinner now.
Exactly.
It's going to be. It's a brave new world. Last one before I leave, John. This is just a really funny. This is sort of a reaction to. This is a sort of meme I saw on Instagram, which is like more about the kind of people who love this meme. So it says here, me watching my bro's phone start blasting his goofy ringtone while we're posted up with a table full of baddies. And it's got Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, I think, in Spider-Man, looking real sad. And then
Very
this is just
brooding.
what's playing as the camera pans around him.
Scimpanzini, bananini, yung tung tung sahur. Scimpanzini, bananini.
They're basically just saying like it's just for idiots, which I love. So I want to say thank you so much, everybody. I hope you now understand the Italian Brainrot meme just a smidge better than you did before. And Marta in particular, write in, let me know what you thought. Tell us how to pronounce the Italian swear words correctly. And John, do you want to say anything else to everybody before we go?
I want to say thank you so much, Al, for that deep dive into Italian brain rot. My brain feels a little bit more rotten, but also a little bit more continental. I might go and have a Campari spritz after this and just think about bananas with gorilla heads.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody. And we can't wait to see you next week.
The podcast.